Hello, welcome to another episode of Daily Market Mastery with me, Christian Rauchenwald. As always, today we're going to take a quick peek at my positions and what I think will happen to certain stocks and indices in the immediate or not so far future. Now, before we do that, as always, let's get the usual disclaimer out of the way. Everything that I share in this live stream / video is my personal opinion, in no way financial or professional advice of any kind. You should always do your own research, consult certified professionals, draw your own conclusions, and make your own decisions. That said, as always, reminder, all the tools that I'm using, so the charting software, the broker I'm using, the strategy I'm using, and where you can learn about it for free and so on, are all linked in the description below. And with that, let's jump right into it. Want to take away, it's going to be a short stream. I have an appointment in 45 minutes, so I don't have too much time. We're going to quickly look at what happened since yesterday. So regarding GameStop, we saw that trend line here from which we bounced multiple times. And then surprisingly, after breaking, more or less breaking, briefly going through this, let's call it support level, we then bounced from here and actually broke out to the top. So it stands to reason that potentially whatever corrective pattern we have down here is finished by now, and that we might now see the development of another 5-wave pattern to the top. Now, if we look very, very close, okay, 1 minute is from probably too close, we can see with the naked eye some kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for wave 1, wave 2, potentially, let's take an extension here. Potentially here we have our wave 3 or not yet. So the tricky part here is to determine if this is one wave in total or if this is wave 1, 2, 3, and that would be 4, and then we would get wave 5 here, then we would get another wave 2, so that would then be a bigger wave 1, 2, and then we get a wave 3. Either way, we can see with the naked eye that we potentially have a 5-wave pattern movement either till here or till here, followed by an ABC corrective pattern that's almost perfect, and then usually followed by the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pattern upwards. Now, if we zoom out a little bit, even here, relatively good visible 1, 2, 3, 4, which would give us a target for wave 5 in the area of 2516 to 2591, which would then complete a 5-wave pattern here and then followed by another retracement, so a corrective pattern, ABC for example, followed by the next 5-wave pattern. I still believe that we potentially will not finish the week above 30. There's still a little wiggle room to get up there, but we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. There is still the possibility that this just will become a corrective pattern, because a corrective pattern again subdivides, for example, a zigzag would subdivide into 5 waves, 3 waves, 5 waves, and it's possible therefore that we're still in the corrective pattern downwards. So that could be wave A, wave B, and then that could be an unfinished wave C, where we have potentially 1, 2, maybe wave 3 finished, maybe not finished, and then we would have A, B, C, and then we would get another push down. So there's still multiple options on the charts. Long term, I think it will go up, but short term, we still have the possibility that we get another push down in the not so distant future. Now, other than that, I currently have positions in SPY. Where yesterday I mentioned it's possible that we finished our first 5-wave move either here or here. We had a retracement here to almost the 50% retracement level, which pointed towards it could possibly be A, B, and we get wave C. Now we had another retracement here, again, almost to the 50% retracement level, which makes it more likely to me that basically we have 5 waves down here in one form or another. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 potentially, A, B, C for a corrective pattern, and might now get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 further down. It's going to be interesting to see, because I currently still hold the SPY put options that expire this Friday. And considering what I paid for those options, we would have to expire below, 1 second, I'm going to get that over there real quick. There it is. So we would have to expire below 545.49 for those options to expire at a profit. Anything above that, it will be a loss. And if we expire above 549 or expire above 550, it would be the loss of the entire premium paid. So, and right now, so 545.49. So roughly here is our break-even point. Basically, if I'm right with my assumption that the pattern from here is now wave A, wave B, it could also be wave 1, wave 2, and we get wave 3, a stronger movement. If we correct the bigger wave, if we don't just correct, for example, this part here, then we could also expect that this might only be wave 1, wave 2, and wave 3. We would only be able to judge that depending on how far any movement down here goes. Either way, I'm confident, or relatively confident, that by Friday we should finish further down below. For some reason, my alerts from yesterday didn't get saved, and also some of the charting that we didn't get saved, but I'll need a new alert. So basically, if we reach 546 in SPY, so if we again would go up till here, especially if we again would touch this point, then I likely should close out my positions for whatever profit I can still salvage at the time. Whereas if we from here now go below the 542 mark, that would be an indicator that indeed is A, B, and we get a wave C. If we get a wave C here, we would expect a profit target in the area of this, so that the movement goes down to around 540 and potentially 537.50 roughly. But the question then would be if that would play out till Friday, or if that potentially would take into next week, so I wouldn't have anything from it. Now, if we were to go into that area, 540 or 541 almost, so 541, then we could see that I would have a little bit over 100% return over those compared to the premium paid. Whereas if we go, what was the other one, 38.50, it would be an almost 200% returns and a roughly 10% return on the portfolio, which would be quite nice. Yeah, we'll see. Time will tell if I'm right here. Regarding GameStop, it's a little tricky because obviously I sold the $30 covered calls, which means if we finish above $30, I'll actually lose the 400 shares that I have here, which is fine because, as mentioned, I hold shares at ComputerShare as well. And the shares that I have here are just basically because I got assigned on put options, so trading differently in this account compared to ComputerShare, where I have the long-time holdings. Yeah. Now, obviously, for what do we have here? June 28, GameStop. So GameStop, June 28. Yeah, we would need to drop substantially. Basically, would need to drop to 20 to trigger that order to sell the $20 put option, because there are only basically 2 days or 3 days left, including Friday. So that likely won't happen. And but I'm gonna keep the order open because I don't mind getting more shares. But I would not sell a $20 put option for a $4 or $5 or $10 premium or whatever. So if it's not at least a 5% return, which obviously is a lot, then I just don't see a reason to do it. And I could already potentially sell it for next week, but we can see that even there the premium is low. The implied volatility, while GameStop is still, I'm gonna double check, last we checked, it was still among the most volatile stock in terms of implied volatility. Right now it's on spot number 368. Nikola would be more volatile. Interesting. Yeah, we don't have it here, but just to show you the difference. So, it also doesn't show that much of volatility here, and we have only June 19th. But considering the lower stock price, so if we go to GameStop, where the price of the stock is twice as high, and July 19th, might still be actually, okay, there we would have premiums around 380 around at the money, whereas at Nikola we have premiums around similar. So not much better despite the claimed higher volatility or implied volatility. But yeah, so that's that. We asked the Magic 8-Ball already yesterday and the day before about if GameStop will finish below or stay below 30. And as far as I recall, yesterday for sure the 8-Ball said it is decidedly so. We're going to ask that again. Will we finish the week in GameStop? So will GameStop on Friday stay below 30 at market close? Cannot predict now. Okay, try again. Will GameStop stay below 30? Outlook not so good. Okay, let's phrase it better again. So will GameStop finish this week at market close below 30? Yes, definitely. Yeah. So it seems like that the 8 ball, and thanks to Keith Gillen for bringing or getting me, or yeah, like bringing me on the idea or getting the idea or helping me or whatever, for basically inspiring me to get that damn 8 ball. It seems the 8 ball is relatively consistent this week by pointing out we will finish the week below 30. Now, obviously, it could be that it's not the case. We can see that we already get some movement up here. If we zoom in further, as said, price target that we would expect here for a 5-wave move would be the minimum target, the 61.8 expansion, and the maximum, wrong point, that would be, so we're already in the minimum area. So if we take our assumed 0.2, our 0.3 and our 0.4, then we get the minimum target area and the maximum target area that we would expect in most cases. Now, zooming in a little further, we would obviously expect that this is the next wave 1. So wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we get the push to wave 5. And that then finishes up 5 waves, and then we have another corrective pattern, and then we go further from there. And then it remains to be seen if we are looking at an 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or if we're going to be looking at an A, B, C, and then from there retrace a little bit further. Yeah. Either way, either way, I'm fine. Ideally for me, we would finish the week close to 30. So in terms of my positions, if we finish the week close to 30, I still pocket the entire $200 premium, which is an almost 2% return for the week on the portfolio. And I keep the shares and can sell more covered calls for next week. Or what might be even better for me, if we finish the week slightly above 30, I get my 400 shares called away, and I can sell a new set of $30 put options for next week. Although, yeah, like, I mean, it always depends on the premium that we get. The last 2 weeks, I was able to get $600 premium for the $30 put options, which is insane because it's kind of like a 20% discount on shares. And obviously right now we can see that even at the money put options only offer around $200 in premium, which is still good. So like we see that we would almost get 10%. So we would have, for the $24 put option, we would commit ourselves to buy 100 shares at $24 each, so $2,400, but we would get $170 or $160 right now at the moment. Yeah, so that would equal $160 divided by 2,400, so 6.6% return, and that would be for 9 days. So, which is incredible. So if we stay above 24, we would have a 6.6% return on the money that we committed to, or theoretically committed to buy those shares. If we fall below, we would get the shares at that strike price, but our average would not be 24, but would be at 22.30 or 40. So yeah, 22.40. So somewhere here. Yeah. Anyway, do we have anything else to cover for today? As said, I mean, I would like to stream longer, to be honest, but as said, have an appointment, or actually a set of appointments for the next couple of hours. GameStop will just keep an eye on it. So even if we spike today, unfortunately, I won't be able to go live again. But again, we'll have to wait and see a little bit. Again, how this pattern, if it will be 5 waves, 3 waves, 5 waves, 3 waves, because then we would get another 5 waves, yeah, or if it will be, as said, A, B, C, then we would get another 5 waves down. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But it's nice to see that outside of Elliott Wave Theory, even more traditional trading methods like just using basic trend lines and so on also here and there provide results. So using the resistance level around 2250, one could have potentially entered the market here and or entered it here after the confirmed breakout. The confirmed breakout is basically we finish outside of the trend line and then we retrace and bounce from it. So one could have made a decent trade here for, I don't know, what's that, 5% profit. if one wants to just trade the swings. Other than that, yeah, it's nice, or it's going to be nice to see how, or it's going to be interesting to see how SPY develops further. While those options are not going to make me rich in any way or so, but if it turns out the way I think it should, then it would, as said, add roughly 10% to the portfolio. An extra 10% on the portfolio would mean I could sell another set of $30 GameStop put options, which would be especially interesting for next week, because if we stay below 30 for this week, but I believe we will go above 30 next week, so I'm not saying that I do that, but then I obviously get more money, although I only would get the same amount I actually got the last 2 weeks, yeah, but I would get more in premium because the options are in the money. And if I'm right and GameStop actually goes above 30, I just would pocket 20% on my capital committed. If we stay below 30, I would just get shares at around 23.80, which is still below the current market value. So it would still be a profit compared to where we are now. But yeah, anyway, I think that's it for today. So I'm going to give it a, like, let's say 30 seconds or so. If you have any questions, you can share them now. I'm actually going to start a timer for a minute. Or can I do a 30-second timer? Let's check timers. Probably can. New timer. 0 minutes. 30 seconds. Yeah. Hope it saves that then for the next time. So 30 seconds now for any questions you might have, and then we're going to call it a day if there are no questions, so that I can get ready for my appointments. Yeah. While we're waiting those 30 seconds, we can also take a look at the account real quick. I just have to enable that eye, so my account information is not visible. We can see that basically our monthly performance is still okay. So since last month, it's 34%. However, if we look from, I mean, the year to date is misleading because of the, time's up. Because of the switch that I made to Interactive Broker, and before that I just had a couple $100 there and monthly only paid for the data feeds, which then displays as like a relatively big loss. Overall, it's still, can I just show the, no, of course not, yeah. Overall, it's still then from here, we can add that actually, so like a 48% return since I switched to Interactive Broker around the 16th of last month, so it's a little bit more than a month. However, if we look from the 16th of this month, so we see, or actually the 14th, because the 16th was on a weekend, we can see that since then I actually dropped around, what's that, like 9%. So we lost a little bit of money with options that expired worthless last weekend. But on top of that, also, we obviously also had GameStop shares that we got assigned, which basically our average technically is at $30 because that's the strike price we got them assigned at, and it's only showing at $24 because it's considering the premium we earned, which is the same as if we would have returned the premium to someone, which technically means those shares are still at a loss. Anyway, time's up. Thanks for tuning in. Tomorrow, I'm gonna check real quick. Calendar. I think tomorrow there's nothing on the schedule. Yeah, tomorrow is going to be regular stream. Might actually have time for a longer stream as well. And yeah, so thanks for tuning in. Don't forget, like, subscribe, enable notifications, give the stream a thumbs up. Really would help me out a lot. And enjoy the rest of the day. Don't get too excited if markets move a little bit against you or so. Remember, patience is one of the most important factors in trading and investing. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. See you in another stream.